It's a tree that has stood the test of time, from blizzards to severe storms. It has been rooted in the Champaign landscape since the 1800s. Here with the dirt on a historic tree in our community, U of I Extension horticultural educator Ryan Pankau is back. And so I think when you say this historic tree that everybody knows, most people will know exactly the tree we're talking about. Where is it?
Oh yeah, this is an Osage orange tree that's located in Trevette Finch Park, and that's at the corner of University and Prospect Avenue. So it's a tree I have been asked about on a regular basis. What's that tree in the park? So
you did a little digging.
I did a little digging, and I have to say it's been one of the funnest topics I've researched.
Well, I love this tree, so I'm excited to hear what you've learned.
Yeah, so again, lots of folks have asked about it, so that's kind of what led to doing a little research into its history. But there's a nice little plaque in the park that kind of sets the stage for the history there. That in the 1850s, that actual plot of land was bought or purchased and made into a farm by Oliver Trevette. So that's where the Trevette
name of the park comes
in. And so, you know, if you look at the original plat of what that was, it was a 5 or so acre farm right there and on the edge of town. So that's really interesting to me to think about Prospect Avenue kind of being the western edge of town. And throughout time, you know, through the early 1900s, that area started populating the neighborhoods that we saw, but there's actually a plat map in about 1913 that University Avenue ends in a big cornfield. So I mean, really, we're still talking about kind of the edge of the urbanization of Champaign-Urbana right there at this little park. So I've always thought that was interesting. And I came across a News Gazette article in about 1969 talking about a memorial that was donated to the Champaign County Foundation for Helen Finch, who is, I guess, would have been the great-granddaughter then of Oliver Trevette. And so that's how kind of what led to in the 80s then the remaining relation of Oliver Trevette donated that park to Champaign Park District. Aww. And it became a park for everyone.
And now people go there all the time to get their picture taken and go exploring out there. I believe there's a geocache out there from our geocaching days in the summer. But it's actually a very unique kind of wood fiber, I guess you would say, right?
A unique species of tree, you know. It actually, after the ice ages, it was narrowed down to a really tiny drainage in Oklahoma, Texas, on that area, that its geographic home range is really small, for the Osage orange or the hedge apple tree. So what a lot of folks know it as. The settlers that, you know, settled the prairie actually used that tree to make hedges or rows where they could to divide off the fields or to contain cattle.
Interesting. I also read in here about they used it to make hunting bows.
Yeah, so that's probably like Native Americans were the folks that discovered the uniqueness of this wood fiber and its flexibility and density and all those characteristics made it just a perfect bow making material. So the tribes that, you know, had that tree native in their area traded those bows across the continent. They'd trade with the Plains Indians for bison products. So it really led to a lot of prosper for their tribes because they kind of controlled the population of that tree and could trade with it.
Well, that is so exciting, and that is a very special tree here in Central Illinois, and to think it has such a rich history, who knew? You obviously did a lot of research.
Yeah, I spent a little time in the library on this one, but it was a lot of fun.
Anything else exciting happening with the U of I Extension?
Oh, I don't know.
Now that school's out?
We do have a lot of programs coming up in May. I direct folks to our website to kind of check on the registrations or information for that. But a lot of great different evening presentations and other educational opportunities going on. I guess coming up next week on the 21st, we'll be at the Champaign Farmers Market, and the Master Gardeners and I will be there to answer anybody's plant questions.
Well, speaking of plant questions, if any of you out there have a question for Ryan about plants or gardening, or hey, what's going on with my tree here, send us an email at sayliving@wci.com, and we'd love to pepper Ryan here with all of your questions. So maybe he can answer them the next time he comes and visits us.
Yeah, that'd be a lot of fun. I'd love to answer some questions for folks, so I'm talking about things that they want to hear about.
Yes. For more information on how you can submit that question or about this historic tree we've got here right in Central Illinois, head to sayliving.tv.